Hey, on this episode, I'm going to tell you how when I fly for video production, I bring with me a 3-light kit that is entirely carry-on, or a more sophisticated 3-light kit that only requires me to check one bag. I'm Neil, and this is Lessons Learned in Time. This past summer, I was fortunate to work on a feature-length documentary that took me to Nigeria, a feature-length narrative that took me all over the Northeast, and a series of documentary films for an airline that took me to 16 different locations around the United States. During that last job, I learned a lot about how to be efficient when traveling with lights. And in fact, I would say I perfected a carry-on 3-light kit and a one-checked bag 3-light kit that I'm going to tell you about today. And I'm going to start by telling you about the 3-light kit that is carry-on only. And maybe it's a little bit of a stretch to say that it's carry-on only, because there is one item that isn't exactly what you would think of as carry-on, but there's a trick. First, you should know that inside of this is not a fishing pole, which is actually what this bag was designed for. It is instead the key light in my 3-light carry-on only kit. And that is a Quasar Rainbow Q50, which is a 4-foot-long, 48-inch RGB WW light that makes an amazing key light for documentary style corporate. This light here is perfect for doing documentary work. And because it's color adjustable, temperature-wise, you can work in a naturally lit environment, you can work indoors in an incandescent environment without having to mess around with gels and other things. All this to say that this makes a great key light, but the caveat is that it's 4 feet long. And you're saying, how can you possibly carry a 4-foot-long light like this onto an airplane? And the answer is, I was almost there, and I got some of that. Just take it from the top. It's bright enough to cut through indoor, naturally lit scene. So if you've got some big windows, like in a hotel or in a conference room, you can key with this in front of the window and add a bit more light with it, or you can turn it down to 3,500, 3,000 Kelvin and match incandescent light in a hotel room or another internal environment. And because there's no ballast, there's no power supply, all you need to power it is this one cable. It's really easy to travel with and really light. The trick here is that instead of buying a large, hard Pelican case that will cost you a fortune, you can get this $25 or less Plano fishing rod case and slide your Quasar, and I'll leave a link to this below, right into here. And when you get to the airport, you can bring this right through security, because a little known trick is that you are allowed to carry on a musical instrument, a fishing rod, and a whole bunch of other similar items in place of one of your carry-on items. I think it actually has to be your carry-on item, not your personal item. The point is, I can get on an airplane with my big old backpack with my camera and all of my other lights and all of my other equipment in it, and this here, and that's perfectly fine. When you first get on the airplane, there's a coat closet. 4 foot is probably about the limit to what you can bring, and of course you're gonna get strange looks when you go through security, but so be it. The other things that you need, though, to make the Quasar a really good travel companion are these two things. You've got this, which is an... So when you get to location, you are going to need to mount this Quasar. And to do that, I have found the most efficient tool are these Matthews clamps that clip right onto the rainbows. This clamp here for T12 lights, specifically actually the Quasar lights, is perfect. And the reason I like it a lot is because inside there are grooves. And these grooves line up exactly with the grooves that are on the back of the rainbow. When you bring this clamp and you clamp it onto, I'll show you in this direction, when you just pop it on and you turn this guy, It clamps on firmly to the rainbow. It's not going anywhere, it's not twisting. You can't mount this directly to a stand. I'll leave a link to this guy below. So for that, you need this, which is just a Matthews mini knuckle. I'll leave a link to this as well. You stick this is a 5/8 inch pinhole right here. You drop this right on your light stand, but you drop this right on your light stand, put it on the correct side, and slide this into here. Use this as my key light. That is really all you have to have. Now, I actually pack as well a little, whoop, almost fell over. I pack this extension, which screws into here, and that just makes it a little bit more positionable. You get the idea. So that is all you need for this. You need the power cable, the Matthews clamp, and you don't necessarily need the extensions. They come in a variety of sizes, but they are handy. Added bonus, it is nice to have a 12 or 15-foot extension cable with me, and I get the extension cables that have 3 plugs at the end, because then I don't need to bring another thing like a quad box to plug into that. That gives me 4 plugs. That is the most important part of the 3-light kit. The other 2 lights in my kit are these guys here, the Bowling P1s. These are battery-powered RGB WW lights. Now it's in red, that's the effects mode. Here is the white 4000 Kelvin mode. It drops down to, 2500 Kelvin and goes all the way up to 8500 Kelvin. So often what I'll do is I'll set the rainbow to around 4000 Kelvin and light from the front, and then I will use this as a hair light from the back set at 8500 Kelvin or 7000 Kelvin, and I get that blue kick on the back of the subject's head. If in the event that I need to do a little bit of fill from the negative side because the rainbow isn't quite enough, I've got a second P1 that's in my backpack that I just put over here, and I do a little bit of fill with it. I mount all 3 lights on nesting Manfrotto stands. I don't have one here in the studio, but I'll link to them below. But basically these are relatively short Manfrotto stands that all clip together. I usually bring 2 or 3 of them with me, and I can clip them to the side of my backpack. This summer, I was fortunate when I was traveling to the 16 different locations for the airline, I was able to have an assistant with me all the time. So I, in most cases, gave my assistant the stands to carry on his backpack just to eliminate some weight and make my carry a little bit smaller so I could get through security without too many questions.
I'm gonna put your butt in the car.
Ad read, take 1. I'd like to pause for just a second to thank our sponsor, Think Tank. Think Tank is the manufacturer of camera bag and accessories, although this one isn't actually a camera bag. This is a laptop bag. This is the retrospective laptop case 15L, and inside I actually don't have a laptop at all. I've got my 12.9-inch Apple iPad. One of the things that I love most about these retrospective bags, apart from their clean lines and unobtrusive look, are their sound silencers. You can see inside there's these little patches of Velcro here. If you open them up, you can make it so that this piece of Velcro or hook and loop fastener is exposed, and then when you close the bag, you've got that Velcro closure. But if you don't want that noise to happen, you can fold this up and over the Velcro that's there, and now, no noise at all. And I've actually discovered a bit of a hack, and that is you can place this so that there's just half of the Velcro or a portion of the Velcro exposed. And now when you close the bag, you still have some Velcro exposed and holding, but not as much as the full 2-inch by 2-inch, 3-inch by 3-inch patch. Thank you very much to Think Tank for sponsoring this video. Really appreciate their support. If you have a slightly more sophisticated shoot that you want to do and you want your lights to be just a little bit better, you can bring 1 checked bag. That checked bag is also kind of a bit of a hack because it is this guy here. No, these are not my skis. This is a out of focus person is what this is. That bag there is a ski bag. This is made by a company called Sport Tube. It's designed to expand. I don't have it locked now, so it comes up. But it is up to 200-ish centimeters long, which is far longer than the 48, 50 inches that you need for the rainbow tube. But inside of this case is the new key light that I bring when I'm doing a more sophisticated shoot. And that light is this guy here. This is not what it looks like. You'd think that this is a Kino light, but it's not. Inside are 2 Quasar crossfades. So this is a recycled Kino fixture. This actual unit I bought on eBay, I think, or maybe Adorama or B&H in their used section for around $100. And it came with the egg crate grid as well. So it's a 2 fixture, 4-foot kit. There we go. So we've got very overexposed fixtures. So the way I fix that is I bring this with me as well. This is a $20 variable power controller. So on here's a switch that is variable or full power. It's a rheostat. This one is actually a router speed control is what it's actually designed for, but you can turn this dial and that controls how much power goes to the light. So if I put it in variable mode and turn this, you can turn it all the way down and it's very dim, or you can turn it all the way up to 100% and it blows out the image. I wouldn't usually run them at different temperatures, I'm just doing that for demonstration. The only other thing that you need, and this actually cost almost as much as the used Kino barn doors kit, whatever it is this guy here. This one is made, this is the mount that goes on the back of the Kino. Part of the reason I really like these Kinos, by the way, is as a key light, especially with the grid, you can light your subject in just like my situation here, because I've got this mega cloth from IntelliTech. This has got a grid on it as well, and the grid keeps the light from spilling for the most part onto the background. If I didn't have this grid on here, the light would just be pouring onto the background and I wouldn't have nearly as much separation from it. And my red hair would mix with the red brick and you'd barely be able to see me. The grid throws all the light down on me and prevents it from spilling. Same thing in this Quasar. Like I said, these lights have traveled tens of thousands of miles with me, literally around the world, several times to 16 different locations this summer. So believe me, if the airlines were gonna break this kit, they certainly would have. So those 2 lights go, when I travel, right into, and I'm just gonna show you this whole thing. It's got wheels. I'll put a link to this below, and it's just a hollow box, you can see. This part is about 3 foot tall. It's just below the desk here, so you can't really see it, but I'm gonna throw this in here. And this is where that extension cord comes in handy again, but then if you travel, you probably want 2 extension cords then, one for this guy and the other one for the Rainbow. I will say that the Rainbow you can power off of battery. But if I'm bothering to bring this with me, I'm gonna have power locally, so just bringing another extension cord is more convenient and weighs less than a V-mount battery or a couple of NPF batteries. This fault goes right in here. I drop the mount in here, the plate in here, and I wrap those in gear wraps. I'll leave a link to some of those below too. I get them used usually from Adorama for around $5 to $6. The mini knuckle, the power cable, cable. The last thing that goes in this case that brings it close to that 50-pound mark, that's actually a lie, it's not the last thing, is the extension cord and the power, which I'm going to regret putting in here without wrapping them up. The other 2 things that go in here that I didn't mention before that bring this to about 50 pounds are a 3-pack of the Manfrotto nesting light stands and 2 tripods. 1 carbon fiber tripod that is fairly substantial, good enough with a little video head on it, and a much more portable carbon fiber tripod. Frankly, it's not much lighter in carbon fiber than it would be in aluminum, but it's tiny, and that goes in here too. So 2 tripods, 3 light stands, the Kino case and 2 crossfades, the Rainbow in here, the extension cords, the cables, the mounts, everything you need to do a full shoot. And then, just for fun, I don't take these out of my backpack either. These are in my backpack, the 2 Bowling P1s. So I've got some extra light just in case I need it. So, like I said, I have perfected this kit over the summer, traveling to probably all said and done 25 or 30 different locations by airplane. And I really, by the end of it, knew exactly what I needed and exactly what I didn't need. And I'm not gonna say that this kit will work for everybody, but I do think that for traveling, this kit is really important. I'm gonna go back to the beginning for a second and just say one more really important thing about the quality of light. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of choices when it comes to your light. The thing that I find matters most in the quality of light is the size of the light relative to your subject. So here I've got this big 4-foot mega cloth above me, and because it's so big, it's just throwing a very soft light down on me. And I don't always want a soft light, but it's easier to make a soft light harsh than it is to make a harsh light soft. So I'd rather have the option. And when you have these 4-foot lights, even though they're not 4 foot by 4 foot, they're still 4 foot in this direction, and that gives you a lot of softness. The only thing I will say about this kit is it can't overpower the sun. None of the lights in this kit are bright enough to really use outside. In those situations, I either pick a different location or I back away from the window far enough that the lights can do their job and I can control the light that way. I'm gonna wrap things up and say, I know that this kit isn't the right kit for everybody, but I think this style and ideas from this could be extracted and used to make your own kit. And I'd be curious what you do with your kit, what lights you have and have traveled with, or how you might use this hack. I think that will do it for this episode of Lessons Learned in Time. Thank you for sticking with me until the very end. I hope this information has been useful to you. I will talk to you soon. All right.